All right, how's it going, everybody? So I want to first off apologize if we hear the kids in the background. They are playing on the swing set. However, today what we're going to be talking about is fixing this BOSTITCH nail gun when you have a nail jam inside of it. So I reviewed over many websites trying to figure out the easiest way to take this off, and I was unable to find anything myself. And I want to make sure that I cover this over a video so you guys can see, so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. So the first mistake I made was, you can see these screws here. They require some star wrenches. Never use a power drill just to unloosen this up. This is made of plastic and it will be damaged. I already lost one based on it being damaged, and I don't want you guys to have to lose that in case you guys come across a nail jam. So many reasons for nail jams, but the one I believe is the oil. This is where the oil is going, and I had put oil in it, but my belief is that I overused it, and I should have put more oil in it anyways during the time I was actually using it, and it did end up jamming one of the nails. So just make sure if you're using it for a long period of time to put some oil in it, every hour, every 2 hours, depending on how much you're using it. So anyways, coming across that, my nail jammed in here, and of course I was trying to figure out how to take this off. My belief was taking these bolts off right here was going to unloosen this part. However, because this one was stripped, as you can see now, there's only three here, two here, and there's 3 holes. This one was actually here at one point, but in order for me to balance this out, I had to separate them and leave this one open, which in the future I'll probably end up finding a screw for this. So I'm going to show you guys how to take this apart and how to put it back together, because I want you to pay attention to exactly when you take it apart, what's going to happen when you do, and paying attention to the parts that you're going to come across that are just going to fall out of place. So again, this is not going to be a review basically on how much I like this gun or how much I dislike this gun. That'll be on a later time. But right now it's specifically focusing on how to fix a nail jam. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how basically what you're going to need is a star wrench of some sort. What I have here is a little bit. You're going to unloosen these. Make sure you do it by hand with a screwdriver or the star wrench itself, somewhat similar to an Allen wrench. But again, do not use a power drill to unloosen these. It will strip the inside of it. So once you have all 3 of them off, you can either take this off before or after this thing, just a little twist. It will come off just like that. Don't bend it too much. You don't want to ruin that. After that portion comes off, this will be able to be removed. You're going to have this portion here now. Now this is the part that I'm going to explain to you that you need to be very careful with, because this little piece that's right here, this little round piece, is going to fall out. If you don't pay attention to where it's going to go, you're going to lose it. So this piece, you can see right there, there it is. It just fell right out. This piece is very important to keep, because this is your depth guide right here. And if you don't have this, your depth guide is not going to be tight, and I don't even know if it's going to work anymore. So you're really going to have to take that one off in order for it to even work. So this piece comes out here, just like that. This piece comes out. This depth guide stays in. It stays right in there. When you have your nail jam, it's going to jam underneath this metal piece right here. All you have to do is simply just lift it slightly. Once you lift it slightly enough, but enough for the nail just to fall out, you will just shake it out and it should come out. If it doesn't come out for whatever reason, barely lift this up. Do not bend this though. And then you're going to be able to pull this out with some sort of screwdriver or some sort of needle nose pliers, probably. Whatever you can to get that in there, but mine just fell out. So that is how you actually take a nail out of this. I know that there's some reviews over that have told you to actually get a screwdriver of some sort or some pliers and pull it out from in here. It doesn't work when that nail is extremely tight. So the issue I had was my nail got jammed into a piece of wood. I pulled my gun back and the nail was still jammed into the wood. So when I pulled it, I yanked on it pretty hard. It was still hanging out. So I tried pulling it with needle nose pliers. When I pulled it, it snapped the nail in half. At that point, I had no room to put even needle nose pliers against that nail anymore, because it was halfway cut off, and basically the ending of it now was hanging in a place where I couldn't reach. So I obviously had to try to figure that portion out, and which I did. It took me some time, but now putting it back together. Okay, in order to put this back together, if you have all 3 screws still, like I do not have here, but I will end up finding something that's going to fit for this. It's pretty leveled off with just 2 screws. As long as you put on one right here and one right here, it will be leveled off. Again, don't worry about taking these ones off here. There's no need for that. You can just easily just lift this up somewhat. Don't bend it, like I said, too much. It's just enough to open it up and have the nail come out. So when you get this back together, what you're going to do is you're going to place this on top. This is going to stick out that way. This portion itself, when you angle it off the correct way, this portion goes on top of the actual trigger on the bottom side of this gun, right in there. Just like that. Once you have that back in place, you're able to put this portion fits into a hole right back into that. Now this piece that I was explaining to you, that's very fragile, so do not lose this. Very small. It goes right. I wish I had some little tweezers here so I could show you a little bit better without my fingers being in the way, but regardless, let me see if I can angle it off this way. This goes into the middle of this. Then this portion pushes back into there. Line your holes up. Do not let this go. Line the holes up. And now you can let go, grab your cap, and place it back on. Now, of course, you can see how mine is ruined here, but regardless, it's still going to be functionable. It should fit in tight like this. You can see mine's bent up right here from trying to pry that thing open. Again, put your nail back in, turn it with your star wrench. Get your other one, and again, I'm trying to balance this out, so I'm going to put it on the edge where it was actually torn off. Do not use power drills for these, please. Don't want to run into the same mistake I did. Depth guide, still functionable. Place this back on. You can see the grooves on this thing. The way to put this thing back on, you're going to be fidgeting with this, but seriously, just pull this thing back here. Your depth guide. Fit it over. And there you have it. It's right back on. Alright, so quick refresher. Make sure you use a star wrench. Make sure that you're using handheld tools to take these off. All you need to do, take these 3 bolts off, take this portion off, this will come off. Again, make sure you pay attention to your pieces that are falling out. You want to make sure you have all those pieces to put back together. Once you have all those pieces off, put them aside, put them in a cup, put them in a little bowl, something. Make sure you keep them together. Those things will roll all over you. Put it back in the way I told you after you get your nail gem out. It'll be functionable after that. So again, that is the way to take the nail out of a jam, out of this gun. Nail jam out of this gun. So again, there's been plenty of people that told you to go on the bottom side. It does not work unless that screw or the nail is actually bent facing towards you for you to reach a pair of pliers under there. Everything else should be functional after that. Make sure you use your oil. There's actually a spot on the bottom here that actually says oil. Open this up. Make sure that when you're not using this thing is closed off so that you don't have to run into any issues of anything getting inside of there. Type of oil you get. This one's actually meant for these tools. So make sure that you buy this type of gun. This type of oil here for the gun. All you're going to do is put a couple drops in here. All you're going to do is when you're ready to oil this up, Take this off. Put a couple drops of oil into this area right here. Careful with these because these things leak out really easily, so when you're using it, don't just turn it on it. It's gonna splatter all over the place. Okay, so I know that this was a quick review on basically how to fix an actual nail jam. This is not a full review on this actual tool itself. I will be covering a full review on this tool itself in the near future, so please again subscribe. Again, I'm going to be comparing the actual BOSTITCH 2-in-1 nail gun to a Hitachi 2-inch brad nailer. Same exact thing here. However, we're going to make a comparison and the likes and dislikes for these two different types of guns. So please subscribe and keep informed with me so that we can go through this together and figure out what tools work for what.